Welcome back to TPS. The 2018 trade deadline was quite a dandy. It featured 3 Pro Bowl wideouts getting traded: Demaryius Thomas, Tate and Amari Cooper. Other big names that were moved out included Dante Fowler Jr., Clinton-Dix and Damon Harrison. While the 2019 trade deadline should be just as fun, if not even more fun. There's a long list of Pro Bowl talents, both young and old, who could very well be wearing new uniforms following the deadline. So let's get into it and take a closer look at some NFL stars who could realistically get traded before the deadline. At TPS, we post videos every single day, so don't forget to click the subscribe button to subscribe. Then click the notification bell to be notified when we post a new video. Number 10, Jalen Ramsey. The young Pro Bowl cornerback requested a trade from the Jacksonville Jaguars early in the 2019 season. It's clear that Ramsey has worn out his welcome in Duval County. The Jag staff and front office have expressed their desire to keep him around, but Ramsey remains insistent on being traded. The Jaguars' defense is still loaded with talent all over the field, so they can fare nicely without him. And of course, they'd be getting a king's ransom for the number 5 overall pick from 2016. Just about any team would be interested in Ramsey. Teams that have been brought up in trade rumors include the Kansas City Chiefs, Baltimore Ravens, Philadelphia Eagles, and Oakland Raiders. But we're pretty sure all 31 teams will have some interest in his services. It's only a matter of time until the Jaguars and Ramsey break up. The only question is when. Why not at the 2019 deadline when they'll be able to fetch a nice haul of draft picks? Number 9, Emmanuel Sanders. The Denver Broncos have received tremendous value out of Emmanuel Sanders. The 3-year, $15 million pack they handed him in 2014 should go down as one of the greatest free agent signings of the decade. The speedy and slick Sanders was a key player during Denver's Super Bowl 50 championship season. He recorded 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons from 2014 to 16, and he would have hit the feet again in 2018 if injuries didn't cut his season short. Even while on the wrong side of 30, Sanders hasn't lost his lightning-quick speed, and he remains quite the difference maker, especially as a deep threat. 2019 also marks the final year of Sanders' contract, and the rebuilding Broncos should probably start tearing it all down amid another lost season. Everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. The defense has taken a step back, and losing stud pass rusher Bradley Chubb for this season means there's just no hope for the Broncos in 2019. Denver fans may as well cheer for a tank job here. Sanders is most certainly not coming back in 2020, not with the Broncos needing to undergo a big youth movement. Not to mention that young wideout Courtland Sutton and rookie tight end Noah Fant figure to be the go-to pass catchers for years to come in the Mile High City. As such, it makes sense for the Broncos to trade Sanders for whatever they can get. Probably looking at a 4th or 5th round pick at best, but it's better than nothing, and John Elway has found some late round gems before. Teams like the New England Patriots, Baltimore Ravens, and New Orleans Saints could certainly use Sanders. There will be no shortage of interested teams for him. Number 8, Eli Manning. Okay, so Manning isn't exactly a star anymore, but he is a 2-time Super Bowl champion and MVP, as well as a 4-time Pro Bowler. So Manning used to be a star, if you know what we mean. Thus he qualifies for this list, no objections. The Giants finally benched Eli in favor of rookie Daniel Jones after a frustrating 0-2 start to the season. The front office and owner John Mara should have moved on from Eli 2 years earlier, but it is what it is. Better late than never. You have to think there will be a QB desperate team looking for a veteran signal caller, especially if their starting quarterback goes down with an injury. Listen, we love the Gardner Minshew story, but don't you think Eli would fit in nicely with Jacksonville? He'd be reunited with Tom Coughlin, who coached him in New York for all those years, and Eli might flourish in an offense that relies more on the run game and short passes. Otherwise, maybe a team like the Vikings, Broncos, or even the Titans might take a shot if they become fed up with their current quarterback situations. May as well take a chance on Eli Manning and see what he can do, right? This is it for Eli with the Giants. They may as well get something for him, like Baltimore did when they sent Joe Flacco to Denver. This is also the final year of Eli's contract, so teams shouldn't be afraid to take a low risk on him and see if there's anything left in the future Hall of Famer. Number 7, Gerald McCoy. It was quite a shock when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers released 6-time Pro Bowl defensive end Gerald McCoy in the offseason in 2018. He was only the best and most valuable player on their wretched defensive unit. The Bucs replaced McCoy by signing veteran Pro Bowler Ndamukong Suh, even though the latter has been on a steady decline for a while now. At any rate, the NFC South rival Carolina Panthers picked up McCoy to boost their front seven, giving him a 1-year pact worth $8.5 million. Thing is, the Panthers might struggle to keep pace in a brutally difficult NFC, and it's hard to envision them coming away with a division over New Orleans. If the Panthers don't like their chances at making the postseason, they may as well deal McCoy. He can be quite the difference maker for a team needing to shore up its front seven. The Indianapolis Colts, Seattle Seahawks, and Cleveland Browns might be interested in a player like McCoy. And of course, the guy is only playing on a one-year deal, so the price to acquire him would be minimal. That should boost his value on the trade market. Number 6, Chris Harris Jr. Much like the Broncos teammate Emmanuel Sanders, four-time Pro Bowl cornerback Chris Harris Jr. was instrumental in helping Denver win a Super Bowl 50 championship. But Harris, like Sanders, is in his final year of his contract. And with Harris in his age 30 season, it doesn't make sense for the rebuilding Broncos to keep an aging veteran around long term. Harris remains one of the game's top shutdown corners. He has been the ultimate difference maker since joining Denver in 2011, and he could be that final piece needed for a team to win a Super Bowl championship. Think about all the contending teams that need an upgrade in the secondary. It's unlikely that Denver would trade him to a rival like the Kansas City Chiefs or the LA Chargers, but the Houston Texans, Baltimore Ravens, San Francisco 49ers, Seattle Seahawks, New Orleans Saints, and Philadelphia Eagles could use another top-tier playmaker in their secondary. Denver won't get a king's ransom for Harris. They're looking at a 3rd to 5th rounder for his services. But it's better than nothing. The Broncos need to let Harris go and start rebuilding that woeful secondary. Many thought Harris would be traded at the 2018 deadline or in the 2019 offseason. Well, it makes sense for this marriage to finally end here. The Broncos have to stock up on all the picks they can get amid a lost season. Number 5, Leonard Fournette. The Jacksonville Jaguars have gotten mixed results from Leonard Fournette after drafting him 4th overall in 2017. On the one hand, he did have 1,040 rushing yards and 9 touchdowns in his rookie year, leading the Jaguars to a surprise AFC Championship game appearance. On the other hand, Fournette hasn't been able to stay healthy at the NFL level. He was limited to 8 games in 2018, and Fournette hasn't been the least bit consistent while on the field. He's been called out by Tom Coughlin, too. Clearly, the Jaguars' patience with Fournette is slowly wearing out. As we've seen time and time again in recent years, running backs are easily replaceable. The Jaguars don't have to keep Fournette around simply because he's a former first-round pick. You can't hold on to a guy forever. So it wouldn't surprise us if the Jacksonville Jaguars gave up and decided to trade away Fournette. It's obviously not the ideal situation. They didn't take him 4th overall so that he could get traded less than 3 years later. But sometimes you have to cut your losses and move on. The Jaguars have a shot to win the wide-open AFC South, but if they think Fournette isn't going to get them to that next level, why keep him around? May as well get a mid-round pick for him and just move on. There are so many other quality running backs out there. You know, the New England Patriots could totally acquire Fournette for a 7th-round pick and turn him into a 1,000-yard rusher. Maybe the Packers or Seahawks decide to take a low-priced risk on Fournette to boost their strong rushing games even more. Stay tuned. Number 4, Melvin Gordon. The stud LA Chargers running back missed the first 4 games of 2019 due to a contract holdout. The Bolts were smart not to give in to Gordon's contract demands because Austin Eckler and Justin Jackson performed nicely in Gordon's absence. The Chargers know that they can get by without Gordon. What if he's unhappy and tries to orchestrate a trade? Or maybe another team will step forward and push hard to acquire Gordon from the Chargers, knowing he's expendable and all. Gordon has a record 3 straight seasons of over 800 rushing yards, with 28 touchdowns over that span. He's a nice playmaker in the passing game as well. Simply put, Gordon could be that final piece needed for a one-dimensional offense that lacks juice in their ground game. If Gordon doesn't completely outplay Eckler and Jackson, then it's easy to see him getting traded. We like the Texans, Rams, Patriots, and Colts as possible landing spots. Number 3, Trent Williams. Only the dysfunctional Dan Snyder-run Washington Redskins could blow it with yet another franchise star. Trent Williams has been this team's best player for several years now, but the 7-time Pro Bowl tackle and likely future Hall of Famer has been disrespected by the organization. What a surprise. Williams was reportedly unhappy with Washington's medical team over the handling of his health. He needed off-season surgery to have a growth removed from his head. He then held out in hopes of a new contract, and the Redskins never addressed it in the first month of the season. Well, it's probably best for both sides to move on. The Redskins clearly don't know how to properly treat one of their few Pro Bowl talents to come around over the last decade. Williams could fetch a nice return, too. The fact he signed through the 2020 season only adds more trade value. There aren't many consistently dominant offensive linemen of his caliber, and they don't hit the trade market very often. Deshaun Watson of the Texans would feel like $1 million if he had Williams protecting him from all of those brutal hits. The Chiefs and Patriots could use Williams too. Pretty much every playoff contender will have interest in Williams. Let's see if the Redskins manage to not blow it by trading Williams while he has value. Number 2, A.J. Green. The Bengals have become quite the disaster in the AFC North, but at least rookie head coach Zach Taylor looks like the right guy to lead this team going forward. Here's the thing, the Bengals need to move out their veterans and start rolling with younger talents. Quarterback Andy Dalton needs to go during the 2020 offseason, and while they're at it, the Bengals may as well trade away 7-time Pro Bowler A.J. Green. Why? It's simple. Green is on the wrong side of 30 and in the final year of his contract. Why extend a guy who will decline sooner rather than later? Plus, the Bengals have 2 young dynamic wideouts to build around in Tyler Boyd and John Ross. The Bengals should be thinking about the long-term future here. Keeping Green around during the rebuilding process doesn't make sense. Plus, who knows? Maybe somebody will overpay him at the deadline. The Bengals could be looking at 2 draft picks here. There would certainly be quite a bidding war for Green. Think about all the top teams in the NFL right now. Which of them wouldn't want Green? Time for the Bengals to put emotions aside and trade one of the most loyal and productive players in their club's history, especially with Ross and Boyd prepared to lead the way as the top-tier receiving duo in Cincy. Number 1, Patrick Peterson. The All-Pro cornerback requested a trade during the 2018 season, but he went back on it and issued an apology. Still, can you really see the Cardinals and Peterson continuing this relationship together much longer? The 8-time Pro Bowler just wants to win, and the Cardinals are on their way to a 4th straight losing season. Arizona is rebuilding under Kyler Murray and rookie head coach Cliff Kingsbury. By the time this team is ready to contend again, Peterson will likely be on a downward trajectory of his career. Peterson is signed through 2020, so the time to trade him may be now. Arizona would be looking at a nice package for Peterson too. They're probably getting a 1st-round pick plus a 2nd or 3rd rounder. He's arguably the game's top corner right now, and he's still in his prime. They'll never get more for Peterson than if they deal him right now. It's a lost season in Arizona, so we suggest they get everything they can for him to help accelerate the rebuild. How good would he look with the Saints, Chiefs, Eagles, or Browns, for example? We're not sure if the Cardinals will actually consider this or follow through with it, but they absolutely and totally should. This is their chance to score a huge return while Peterson's value is at an all-time high. What other NFL stars do you think could get traded before the 2019 deadline? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.